Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Naika. Today's video is about the unfortunate process of my D&C. So as you guys know from my last video, I end up having to get a D&C to remove our baby. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know how the process has been going, what the D&C healing process is like, and just to update you guys. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I had to there's a lot of things that I had to write down while I kind of process all of this, going through this process. I wasn't gonna remember everything, so I knew that I had to make note of everything. So bear with me here. So from the last video, you guys knew, like I said, I had to go through D&C. The surgery, of course, wasn't. It was January 28th. The surgery wasn't anything, crazy, because they did put me to sleep. The anesthesiologist came in. She drew my blood. At the time, I did not know what she was drawing my blood for. I just knew that they were taking blood from me. So the doctor ended up explaining it after, which was fine. But yes, so she drew my blood, and then they brought me in, and of course, into the operating room. And guys, as I talk about this process, if this triggers anything for you, please feel free to come off this video. I know it's a lot harder for some of us women than others. I always encourage us to stay positive and stand by one another. But I know that it's hard for a lot of women, especially to hear someone's experience. It may bring up memories. So if you feel like you can't take handling my experience with D&C, please feel free to click off the video. I will completely understand. I care about your mental health, and I care about your well-being more than anything, and I don't want to be any reason to trigger you anyway. By me speaking about my story, it is to allow other women to know that they're not alone. We didn't ask for this journey. We didn't think that we were going to end up going through this at all. But I'm a voice, and I'm here for you guys. And those of us who aren't as comfortable and open enough to talk about it, I'm here to open and talk about it, and want you to know that I'm here with you, and I know what you're going through, and I know how you feel. So to get into the process of the D&C. So yeah, they took me into the ER room at the OR at the time. They did tell me that we're about to give you, the anesthesiologist told me, we're about to give you something that's going to relax you. I'm like, okay. And as she said that, I felt her pushing the liquid into the IV. And then that's when the nurses in the OR said to me, "Oh, we're gonna elevate your legs and put it on the pedestals." So I said, no problem. All I remember is them putting one leg. I think I knocked out after. I don't remember putting on the second leg. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. By the time I woke up, I was already in, of course, the recovery room. So it was all over. I was the only one there getting a D&C. So everybody else and the fertility clinic that I go to, they do all the procedures there. So I was the only one doing the D&C. There were other women there doing retrievals and doing embryo transfers. So it was a little uncomfortable, because I'm like, wow, I'm hearing everybody else go through their transfers and retrievals, and I'm here past that stage, but getting rid of the successful product that should have came out of this. It did work. The transfer did work, but in terms of the embryo progressing the way that it should have, and us end up with no heartbeat, that was completely out of our control, out of my control. There was nothing that I could have done to change the outcome of this. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, in the beginning it was hard, But I am at a point where I am just like, okay, if my child, if that child was meant to be on this earth right now, they would have been, and this pregnancy would have progressed the way that it should have. So I'm looking at it as, it wasn't the right time, and that child wasn't, ready to be here, and and I'm accepting of that. So yeah, so I woke up, and the procedure and everything was done. Of course, you couldn't drive or anything like that. So it's crazy because my husband, like I said, in the private, had also a similar surgery and procedure that he had done. So my cousin-in-law was the one that ended up bringing me to get the D&C done. My husband was also in the car with him and everything. So yeah, so my husband, and with COVID, guys, how everything has been going with COVID, it has been just like a whirlwind. Your spouse can't be with you in the room, anything like that. So like back before, when I did my retrieval back in 2019, my husband was able to be there, was able to be there with me in the OR in the back. And then he came to the front of the waiting room, and then he came back when I was done. So this time I had to be there all by myself, and yeah, so I was in the room, I was recovering. They woke me up, they gave me something to eat, they gave me something to drink and everything, and then they told me, all right, try to use the bathroom. Of course, they have every woman essentials that's needed in there, pads and everything like that. They said if you need, put one on and everything. So yeah, and then they called my husband and let him know that I was ready to be picked up. And he met me, and he had to sign out because, of course, with the procedure, with anesthesia, you have to make sure that you're getting picked up and you're not driving home. Somebody's there for you, So yeah. After that, so I only bled for from the procedure itself. I bled I did it a Thursday, I bled the Friday, and I bled the Saturday, from the procedure itself. Then Saturday came, in the evening time, Sunday, and that was the 30th. That's when, literally, because guys, when you do a D&C, they're only taking out the contents of the baby, and of the gestational sac and of the embryo. They're just taking out those contents. They're not shedding your lining, so you still have your lining there. So your body got to get rid of that by itself. So that Sunday was when my lining said, all right, it was that time. It was that time. So, oh boy. It wasn't a lot all at once, but it lasted about a week long. And I'm gonna TMI, guys, and like I said, if this is a lot, please click off. It was a lot of, and they do say after after you had a miscarriage or things like that, you see a lot of clots. And it was a lot. It was a lot. I was like, oh my God, this is normal. It was really, it was more than your period or whatever, but it was a lot, and I was like, this is not an accident, this is not cool, and it is, but because, like I said, it's your lining that has been held up for so long, supporting that, that baby and everything like that, and that, that sac, and, it's not fresh. It's not like new blood. It's all old. You understand? So it's gonna be all brown and it was just, guys, like I said, I'm sorry. I'm keeping it real with you guys. And it was a lot. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the pain. Oh my goodness. I was like, yeah, the pain. The pain generally more came from the fact of the procedure and the fact that your uterus is so sensitive, just from the fact that you just carried a whole, you carried a baby, you were carrying, and your uterus is so sensitive, guys. I could not peeing, just the pressure, even if I had gas or anything like that, just any type, because guys, I have gastritis, so my whole body is just always flowing through, with gas and stuff like that, like, you know, like burping, everything like that. So, you know, just gas pressure, because, you know, gas, when you have a lot of pressure down there, the pressure with the gas, oh my gosh, guys, I was like dying. It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad because of the simple fact that it's pressure on your uterus, you know. So your uterus is still so sensitive from the fact that you just went through all of that, you know. And so the gas, it really hurt. Gas, guys, even constipation, using the bathroom, like it hurt. Like just knowing that I had to, mind you, you can take, you know, it's good to, if you ever run through issues like that, it's good to take stool softener and things like that, you understand. But just and mind you, that was not even my problem. It was just like, it was just more feeling and knowing that I had to go to the bathroom. It hurt, like it really, really hurt. And the first thing I did was email my doctor, first of all, about the bleeding. And I was like, I'm bleeding, it's a lot of clots, I don't even know what to call this. And my doctor is very responsive. So you know how they say you can reach out to your nurses and everything? No, I go directly to the source. I go to my doctor, I email him directly, and he responds to me right away. So I asked him, and he said, well, if it's like a period or whatever, he was like, then your body's actually shedding and it's doing what it's supposed to do, so you're on the right track and everything. And I was like, okay, good, this is good, you know. But he said, but you know, he was like, let me know if it's not like that, and you know, it's more than, you know, let me know if it's not like a period, which it really was. And I asked him, like, you know, the color, whatever. He's like, well, he was the one who told me, well, you know, your lining is all old blood, so it's, you know, so please, you know, be mindful that, you know, you're going to shed a lot of, like, you know, it's going to be a lot of dark bleeding and everything. I'm like, okay, no problem. Understood that 100%. So I realized that my body was doing what it was supposed to do. Cool. You know. But then but yeah, and then my next email to him was, okay, is it normal for me to be feeling all this kind of pain and constipation, and, you know, not really constipation, but the feeling and the pain that of the pressure on my, you know, uterus and everything? And that's when he said to me, yeah, because you're still so super sensitive, that's the pain that you're feeling, you know. And he's asking me if I'm feeling anything more than that. Like, he was really expressed concern. The first one, he emailed me back. This one, when I asked about the pain and stuff, he actually called me, you know. But that was not the only reason why he called me. So after they removed my tissues and everything like that, after they removed my tissues and everything, I come to find out the reason why they took blood from me right before the procedure is because when they removed the contents of the baby and your sac and everything like that, it is mixed with your blood. So what they do is they take a vial of your blood and they check, and they're able to separate the difference between yours and the baby and you know, all of the tissues and everything like that, because it's mixed. So they need to know if they're testing you, or to get accuracy, they need to make sure if they're testing your blood or if they're testing the embryo to make sure, like the baby, just to make sure that they're getting, you know, they're making sure that to see what could have went wrong, you know. So he called me that day, explained to me why he asked for why they needed the second set of the blood from me. And and then he also let me know, and of course, guys, I always call myself a walking mystery, because they can never figure out the reasons why things are happening. And a lot of these things, with every IVF, is called unknown fertility, and they can never figure out why certain things are happening, you know. So chromosomes and everything was good. Chromosomes was good. The sex of the baby, everything like that matched everything that was from before it even entered, you know, the testing and everything that was done. So honestly, it was something that was completely out of our control, that we had, like I said, we can't blame ourselves, you know. No matter how much hard we say that maybe we could have did this differently, we could have did that differently, we can't blame ourselves, you know. And I'm gonna tell you guys, so it was gonna be a girl, you know. So it, you know, just to know that you know, everything was scientifically correct, proven. It reassured me that, you know, they are doing what they're supposed to be doing in terms of tests. They are giving me accurate information, but it was just out of my control. There was nothing that I could really have done to change the outcome of that, right? So that was that, you know. But, you know, he called me to tell me that. He called me to check on me with terms of the pain and stuff that I was letting him know about, you know. And then he also scheduled blood work for me. So I did blood work. My procedure was the 28th. I did blood work February, I think it was, if I look at my calendar correctly, it was February 5th. It was the week after, February 5th. Actually, guys, to tell you this, my levels before the surgery, the Monday before the surgery was a 36,000. So by the time of the surgery, I could have been around 40,000. My 40 something thousand. When they did my blood work on the 5th, which was right after the surgery, and they do say research says that after you've had a D&C, you know, and the contents, your levels drop significantly. So my levels dropped like 90% from what that was. So I was at 36,000 or 40,000 the day of my surgery, whatever, and the following week I was 3,200. So my levels dropped way more than half. That's like 90%. My hormone levels dropped, my pregnancy hormone levels. So my HCG was like really like it dropped. And he said that's good. It dropped 90%. My symptoms, the morning sickness, the everything that I was having, that disappeared too. Like I still had like tender boobs and things like that, but it wasn't as aggressive as it was because of how much my level dropped. I mean, 3,200, you're still gonna feel something, you know what I'm saying? But the morning sickness was gone, because I think my levels was a lot higher than that when I had morning sickness, or when the morning sickness really kicked in, you know. So, you know, that completely dropped. But yeah, I mean, I am just, guys, I mean, from since then, I stopped bleeding like the following week, just like right after they took my blood work, I stopped bleeding. So it wasn't that bad. It was still like, you know, still coming to terms, still wrapping my brain around it, but I was, you know, I was managing, I was coping with it and everything like that. I'm still coping with it, but you know, you gotta be strong, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, I mean, that was the process, like the process of a D&C, you know, the aftermath, the bleeding, just the levels dropping. Like, I didn't even think that my levels was going to drop that much. I mean, like I said, our demise is going through Google and seeing and everything like that. And they did say depends on the person, it takes around 6 weeks for your levels to completely drop. So for a week later, for my level to drop around 90%, that's amazing. That, you know, that's, I mean, like I said, everybody's body's different and everything, you know, because I'm looking at it as, you know, this process didn't work, but I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready to take the next step. Not saying that I'm going to jump right into IVF, guys. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I'm ready for my recoup stage, healing, mental health, and just staying positive and going through this. I mean, and my doctor said the whole time, he's like, I am so sorry for your loss. I said, listen, what am I gonna do? I said, you know, if I sit and be depressed, it's only gonna regress me. You understand? I said, I have to stay positive. Yes, I'm human and I am allowed to be emotional. But at the same time, I said, listen, God has a plan for me. This timing wasn't it. And guess what? My timing is coming. It could be next week. It could be next month. It could be a year from now. But my time is going to come. My time is going to come. And my doctor said, he's like, I love how positive you are. It's like, I have to be. I have to be. I said, because the way you feel in your mind really reveals itself in your body and in your soul. So the more positive you are and the more positive you carry yourself, is the more positive your body is going to react. You understand? And there's more positive results that you're going to produce, you know. So guys, I mean, it's clear I can get pregnant. I can hold my pregnancy. So, you know, there's some things that are out of our control, you know, and I have faith and I trust that, guess what, my time is coming. So I just wanted to let you guys know the journey, like in terms of the D&C process itself, what it entails, what I went through in terms of the surgery, and of course the aftermath. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting your girl throughout it all. More content to come, more videos to come, more updates to come. You guys are awesome. Bye.